Oh my goodness. Rex lead in the Sith raid with the clone troopers in phase 4, 5 million damage with this team.
Oh my god!
Mwah, beautiful. So with this Rex lead in the raid, and I just gotta say, Rex is probably the most beautiful, almost bald man that I've seen in a very long time. And remember, bald is beautiful. But with him, you have his leadership ability, and if you don't know what's going on with his leadership ability yet, you have been living under a rock, because this leadership has been consistently one of the best leads for a long time in Arena, and this leadership gives bonus health to him and all of his allies, more for clone allies. But the big thing here is whenever an ally suffers a critical hit, all clone allies gain 15% turn meter, other allies gain half that amount. And with this, you're going to see as we go into the video of this fight that Darth Treya, as the fight goes on, she stacks that crit chance. She can do up to 3 hits with each attack, and each of those hits can be a critical hit. That will be 45% turn meter for your clone allies. And then if you have a Zeta 5s in there, that could be even more turn meter for him with his turn meter, as I jump over to 5s. And with his Zeta, this is something I covered in my other Clone Trooper raid video, he gains turn meter whenever an ally takes damage, 15% if it's a clone ally, 7.5% if it's a non-clone ally. So with all of this, you are going to get a lot of bonus turn meter on your team, and this is without using the Bonds of Weakness trick that I showed in the other video. You're going to see massive boosts to turn meter in this fight. So let's go ahead and talk about the mods, because I know what you guys are thinking. 6 million damage, that's going to have a lot of mods that are really god tier for this fight. Well, that's where you're wrong. First up, we have Baze, and you can see health mods on him, and he has a whopping speed of 110. He is pretty slow, like he just ate a barrel full of molasses, and you're going to find that most of your team is going to be super slow. So, you know, really not going to have a lot of speed on this team. You're going to keep them very nice and slow, let Rex's turn meter boost up their speed. So, keep them low. Boost his health and protection if you want to. Really, there's not a lot you have to really focus on for Baze. Just kind of have him there in the team and maybe throw some mods on him. Next up, we have Echo, and of course you want to stack the offense on him. Crit chance and crit damage is the best way to go for him. Stack offense on the cross, on the arrow, crit damage on the triangle. He only has a 4-star mod for the triangle on there. He could do better with a 5-star mod, but again, at the end of the day, you do want to go for stacking crit damage and offense on every place that you can. Again, don't need to really worry about speed. Only 150 speed on Echo. It's really not that bad. You don't have to worry about speed for him because, again, of the Rex lead. So focus on that offense for Echo and really stack up that physical damage and crit chance. Following that, we have Clone Sergeant, crit damage on him. Again, stack up that offense. Not really a lot of speed. He's going to gain a lot of turn meter on his own whenever he scores a critical hit with his basic. It's going to give him 50% turn meter. He's going to get offense up. He is going to be the main damage dealer for your team. At least, hopefully, he will be. So he can do a lot of damage. You don't really have to worry about his speed on him again, just like everybody else. So focus on stacking up that crit chance. He's going to get a lot from the clone allies in there as well. So he is going to crit often. He's often going to move fast because of those crits. So focus on that crit damage. Focus on that offense. And then we have 5s. You do have the Zeta on 5s of Tactical Awareness. Again, this is not going to be something that's going to fuel a lot of turn meter on him once we get the Bonds of Weakness nerf. We'll see if that happens. But in the meantime, 118 speed on him. Again, speed is not a priority. He's going to gain a lot of turn meter from allies taking damage. So not a big deal here. Getting up that offense, that crit damage, stacking up a bit of crit chance on him as well. He's basically going to be the same layout as your other clones. Stack up that offense, stack up that physical crit chance, and that crit damage. And then finally, we have Rex, and I know I said not a lot of speed on these guys. To be fair, this is the arena layout that the guy uses for arena, so he is going to have a fast Rex here, but you don't need to stack up the speed on Rex at all for this fight. You can go with the 100 plus speed just like with the other clones. So for him, you can go with the crit chance and crit damage just like the others. Stack up that offense, really boost his damage, but mostly don't worry about speed because he's going to go just plenty with his leadership ability. So this footage comes to me courtesy of Gold Spinning over in NSC Gold. big thank you to him for sending this footage that I could use it. The screenshot came from one of my guildmates over in Forsaken Ones, and that would be from Medin Agan. He did the 5.9 million. This run is going to be about a little over 2 million. He unfortunately could not record the 5.9 million run, but I was able to get footage of this 2+ million run, so you guys can at least see the concept of what's going on in this fight. And the big important thing to note is that basically with Baze, he has the Unbreakable Will ability on him already when the fight starts. You basically use Squad Discipline from Rex, you boost that turn meter on Baze, and then you pop Unbreakable Will, and then that's it. That is quite literally all you really have to do to get this team going. It's a really simple setup, and then at that point, you just start attacking with your characters. As it goes on, Treya starts taking more turns, and the buff from Sion allows her to stack 5% crit chance every time she takes a turn, which means that every time she moves, she gains 5% additional crit chance. By the end of the fight, she's going to be critting pretty much on every strike that she uses against Baze. Now, the big thing to note here is that her Saber Strike in Phase 4 does 3 hits to the character that she's attacking, which means 3 critical hits to Baze, which means that you're going to possibly get 45% turn meter on all of your clone allies when she attacks Baze there. Not to mention, if you have the Zeta on 5s, that's an additional 22.5% turn meter for him as well. So the Zeta 5s is still going to have some really good use in Phase 4 with attacking Treya. You're not going to see an overall nerf to this team with the nerf to 5s coming with his Zeta and not triggering Bonds of Weakness if and when that nerf ever happens. Now, one thing to note here is that eventually this team will die. There are going to be times where you're just not going to get the turn meter needed to get everyone up to 100% turn meter, so everyone's going to move a little bit, and eventually Baze is going to move, he is going to lose the Unbreakable Will buff, and then Treya is going to basically one-shot your entire team and wipe them all out. This team can go past Enrage, it can stack well up into the hundreds of stacks of Bonds of Weakness. However, there are no mechanics here that are being exploited. Everything is working as intended. So this team is following the rules, it's by the book, it's pretty straightforward, so there's really nothing to worry here about a nerf outside of the Bonds of Weakness with 5s and his Zeta. So this team should be legitimate. If CG thinks that this is not working as intended and they decide to nerf this team somehow, the thing they're going to have to do is somehow change either her mechanics or change the mechanics of Unbreakable Will, at which point you are probably going to see a nerf to a lot of teams in the raid, and that's not something that's going to go over well with the player base. So I highly doubt they're going to nerf the way this team is working, just because of the hundreds of stacks of Bonds of Weakness and going well into Enrage with this Unbreakable Will. So in my opinion, I would bet on this team staying legitimate for the duration of the Sith raid. However, don't take my word for it. We know how CG is with these nerfs and whether or not things are working as intended. So we could see this get fixed or nerfed at some point. So just be aware of that as you're going into this team and investing in clones. If you're going to Zeta that 5s, be aware that at some point they could destroy this team and make it not possible. So buyer beware, be very careful of that. Now with this, you notice that basically we've got all these clones attacking. The crit chance from Treya is boosting the turn meter. 5 is taking a lot of turns, he's calling an assist. If you can get a lot of assists with Sergeant, that's going to be a nice boost in damage. The assist from Echo can give turn meter to some of your characters. So there are ways for your team to possibly be able to do a sort of infinite loop, but at the same time, there is too much RNG factors here to guarantee that your team could be doing an infinite loop. So you don't have to worry about that issue either. Now, with this team, we have Gear 11, Gear 12 characters. You don't have to have a full Gear 12 team, and like I said before, the speeds are almost negligible on your team because of the turn meter boost from Rex and his leadership ability. And you'll see as this fight goes on and you get more crits from Treya, you can see all the turn meter boosting for your clones. You can really see there's no turn meter boost happening on Baze, so you don't really have to worry about how this team is going to fare in the long run. It's going to get you an easy 2 to 3 million at least. And you saw the mods that he had on this team, and he did 5.9 million. So you can imagine this team could possibly, under the right circumstances of RNG, possibly solo Treya in Phase 4. I'm not saying it's going to, but it has a certain possibility that we could see a solo of Traya in Phase 4 with this kind of team. Clones for life, clones reign for forever. So that is pretty much a lot of the strategy with this team. You basically boost that Terminator on base at the beginning, pop that Unbreakable Will, let things go, and just start hitting Traya. Eventually, base is going to move, you're going to lose the Unbreakable Will, at which point your team is going to die. But in the process, you're going to get at least 2 to 3 million damage with this team. So that is pretty much it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, you know what to do. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I know many of you guys have been working on clones since back during the tank raid, back when you guys saw how popular they are. And here we go. We have a legitimate use that will hopefully not get nerfed too badly. So thanks again for watching, guys. To all my minions out there, I will talk to you guys later.